So the chapter opens with a crazy feat of power from Homeless Emperor, who is straight up making an aurora, as Bang says, out of his light spheres, further establishing that Homeless Emperor is, like I said before, easily one of the strongest cadres, just one of the strongest characters currently in the war at this moment. And he's chasing Tatsumaki with like this barrage of orbs, but she's able to narrowly get away from it when he does like this one big convergent spirit bomb thing. And she was able to escape this using her stone mannequin decoy thing that we saw her also use against Sairochi a couple chapters back. But we're further seeing that Black S is like suspicious of Homeless Emperor still, just him and his powers. Like this started back in chapter 141 or 142, I guess. I don't know. I still don't know what's going on with the numbering of these chapters at this point. But we see him like talking to himself behind Homeless Emperor, and he's like, this guy, his body's just that of a normal human, ain't it? If that's the case, I bet eventually I can find an opening and get him from behind. So yeah, this is also further establishing that like the cadres, they aren't friends, and if they were, Black S is definitely not one of them. Like, let us not forget, this guy even like was talking back to Orochi kind of like way earlier on in this arc when Psychos, or Girogiro at that time, was telling everyone that like, hey, you're all underlings to Orochi, he's the leader. And I'm paraphrasing here, but Black S said something along the lines of like, hey, he's not my leader. I didn't sign up for the Monster Association to be his subordinate. And then Psychos said something along the lines of like, okay, well then after we defeat the S-Class heroes, anyone who wants to challenge Orochi can challenge him, and then if you beat him, you can be the new leader. And that's also kind of where we find the Monster Association, or what's left of it, with the cadres at this point in time, because they basically established that like, hey, you know, after we take care of the S-Class heroes, whoever had the most kills can be the leader or something. But obviously it's just going to come down to them trying to kill each other regardless. So Black S basically just assessing his options at this moment, since Homeless Emperor could possibly be his biggest threat to the throne at this point. So then I think for the first time in this arc, we're seeing Tatsumaki and Fubuki come face to face. Then once Tatsumaki realizes that Fubuki's not only there, but also injured, she goes into like a Super Saiyan slash, you know, question mark mob percentage mode here, saying that like, I can't believe this. I told them as clear as day that they couldn't allow you to participate. And she did pretty much say this was like a stipulation, I suppose, before they went on the raid to the Monster Association. Like obviously Tatsumaki has like some mental health issues regarding her relationship with Fubuki, and that's just further going to be explored upon in this chapter. And then once she finds out that Fubuki's there of her own free will and that her injuries were done to herself, you know, trying to save Genos, she calms down and then it's like, okay, well then, you know, get out of here. I gotta go finish off the cadres. And then Fubuki does like this psychic binding to Tatsumaki to try to stop her from going out and dying. And we're getting more insight into their upbringing and just, you know, their relationship up until this point. So these 2 pages here are telling us everything we need to know, I guess at this point, about Tatsumaki and Fubuki and why they are the way that they are currently. Then she easily breaks out of Fubuki's binding and then binds her and Bang & Bomb. And she acknowledges that Fubuki has gotten stronger and just progressed as an overall character. And then she says, but I can't go on thinking that anyone will come and save me. If you've grown to be a great hero, then all the more I have to be a good example. Of course, this is going back to the iconic statement from Blast. And we've seen so far that Tatsumaki basically has lived her life behind these words from Blast. And she clearly knows that at this point in time, she's definitely the strongest here, at least on the hero side, and that she has to be the one to solely take them down since no one else is going to be able to do it. Therefore, no one else is definitely going to be able to save her. And then this sequence ends with Fubuki saying like, Blast, you may have saved my sister's life, but you left a curse on her heart, which is a pretty interesting statement and tells us all we need to know here. So then Genos decides to be classic Genos and says, hey, you know, even though I just got my life back, I'm gonna just gamble it again. I'm gonna go help Tatsumaki against the cadres because she kind of needs it at this point. And then Silver Fang is like, okay, well then if you're helping out our lovely leader, I may as well head in and do my part too. So now we have Silver Fang and Genos going to back up Tatsumaki against the cadres here. So then the page after this is a complete shocker because we're seeing the Council of Swordsmen for some reason. The last time we saw these guys, I I think was chapter 69, because we see that Atomic Samurai goes to talk to the Council of Swords. I'm pretty sure he talks to them about like Garo, and then we had the whole Harigiri versus Atomic Samurai thing. And we're also seeing Spring Mustachio here. That's because he's the disciple of this guy in the front, Nichiren. But I'm not really sure why they're here, other than the obvious reason being that they're intending to help the S-Class heroes here or something. But that being said, I mean, like, I don't know if we're actually going to see them fight here. I mean, I guess they are since they're here, but I don't know how well they're going to do against the cadres. And then if Garo shows up, they're definitely screwed. So if these guys are just here to job, I think that's unnecessary, but we'll see what happens. So then we're coming to Pig God and Tank Top Master, having this awesome little battle with Gums. And then Fuhrer Ugly comes back into the fray and randomly picks up Soshi from the private military group, who I forgot was here, and just rips his arm off. And Tank Top Master and Pig God are trying to help him, but they get stopped by Gums. And then Fuhrer Ugly's just gonna straight just vaporize Soshi with a punch here, but he's stopped at the last second by Tatsumaki. And this gives enough time for Pig God to scoop up the private military group. And then Tank Top Master launches him and says, hey, pass a message on to Moomin Rider for me. We will win, and it will be a victory for the heroes who gave up their beds. Going back to the whole little hospital relationship that he and Moomin Rider had/have. And he selflessly launches Pig God out of there with the private squad inside of him, saving them from the cadres here. And then we see Fuhrer Ugly like Hulk out and transform and get more muscular, and breaks out of Tatsumaki's binding and like backhands her. I mean, we were just talking about it, but obviously Tatsumaki is like approaching death. I mean, she's really drained and wounded right now, so it's understandable that she's not going to be able to restrain Fuhrer Ugly for, you know, too long. But then Tank Top Master launches at him with a tank top tackle, but Fuhrer Ugly counters him with a forearm caving punch, and that's exactly what it does. He completely wrecks Tank Top Master's arms here. I mean, like, I think this is the worst we've seen an S-Class hero mangled outside of a My Mask recently and Zombie Man. But then after this, Fuhrer Ugly just destroys Tank Top Master with like just full body smashing punches. And it looks like Tank Top Master is dead. And I mean like straight up dead. Like, look at it. I mean, how is he alive? And then he gets eaten by Gums too. Then we come to the final page where Fuhrer Ugly is walking up on a Tatsumaki who is, I guess, one punch away from dying at this point. So, wow, this was quite the intense chapter, more of a companion piece to what 141 was, or 142. Fuhrer Ugly taking MVP again, but I'll say for now that I'm not sure what the fate of Tank Top Master is. He legitimately could be dead here. He doesn't have an excuse like My Mask does with his, you know, regeneration that he, you know, could have that could save him here. Tank Top Master doesn't have that, or at least it hasn't been established that he does. So either Tank Top Master somehow gets out of this and is healed by Fubuki somehow. I mean, it has been established that she has crazy healing powers either, or at least on the extent of saving Tank Top Master, who just became mashed potatoes. I'm not sure if Espers can bring somebody back from that, or there's going to be some crazy Deus Ex sequence with, I don't even know, Phoenix Man? Probably not. But man, it's really not looking good for Tank Top Master, and I honestly think that his life is 50-50 at this point. Like, he might be the first S-Class martyr. I mean, I certainly hope not. We all love Tank Top Master, and he certainly shouldn't be the one main character who dies in this series, or at least at this point. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Not going to talk about what could happen after this sequence, obviously, because it has a lot of potential spoilers to it, but those of you who know that the next chapter might be a 10 out of 10. But we'll see what happens. Let me know, what did you think about this chapter in the comments? Do you think Tank Top Master is dead? Let me know, and if you liked the video, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.